First contact and mockery. The massive alien warship loomed over Earth, casting an ominous shadow across the planet's surface. Inside the command center, Supreme Commander Zaxel surveyed the blue-green world with disdain, his four eyes narrowing as he processed the data streaming across the holographic displays. Pathetic, he muttered, his voice a low rumble that reverberated through the bridge. Another primitive species barely out of its evolutionary cradle. His second-in-command, Subcommander Vela, approached cautiously. Supreme Commander, our initial scans are complete. The dominant species calls themselves humans. They appear to be in the early stages of their technological development. Zaxor's facial tentacles writhed in amusement. Let me guess, fossil fuels. Nuclear fission. How quaint. Yes, Supreme Commander, Vela confirmed. They have only recently achieved rudimentary spaceflight, limited to their own solar system. The Supreme Commander's laughter filled the command center, a harsh, grating sound that sent shivers down the spines of his subordinates. And they think they're ready to join the galactic community. How adorably naive. As if on cue, a communication request flashed on the main view screen. Zaxa's eyes gleamed with malicious anticipation. Put them through. Let's see what these humans have to say for themselves. The screen flickered to life, revealing the determined face of a human woman. Her dark skin contrasted sharply with her crisp white uniform, adorned with insignias of leadership. Despite the fear evident in her eyes, her voice remained steady as she addressed the alien vessel. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We come in peace and hope to establish diplomatic relations with your species. Zaxor's facial tentacles quivered with barely contained mirth. Oh, you come in peace, do you? How terribly predictable. He leaned forward, his massive form dominating the view screen. Listen carefully, little human. I am Supreme Commander Zaxor of the Galactic Hegemony. Your world now belongs to us. Surrender immediately, and we may allow some of you to live as our servants. Admiral Chen's eyes widened, but she maintained her composure. Supreme Commander, surely we can find a peaceful resolution. Humanity has much to offer. Offer? Zaxor interrupted, his voice dripping with contempt. What could your primitive species possibly offer us? Your technology is laughably outdated. Your weapons are little more than children's toys compared to ours. You have nothing we want or need. Chen's jaw clenched, but she pressed on. We may surprise you, Supreme Commander. Humanity has a long history of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. We ask for a chance to prove our worth. Zaxor paused, an idea forming in his alien mind. Very well, Admiral. You want a chance? I'll give you one. A chance to amuse me. He turned to Vela, speaking loudly enough for the humans to hear. Prepare the testing chambers. Let's see how these humans fare against some of our more challenging environments. Vela nodded, her expression a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Yes, Supreme Commander. How many subjects shall we acquire? Oh, let's start with 1,000, Zaxor said casually, as if discussing the weather. A nice round number. That should give us a good statistical sample. Admiral Chen's face paled. You can't just abduct our people. This is a violation of... Of what? Zaxor sneered. Your laws, your treaties, your quaint little notions of morality. None of that matters now, human. You're playing in the big leagues, and I make the rules. He leaned in close to the camera, his alien features filling the screen. Consider this your only warning. Resist, and we'll take 10,000 instead of 1. Understood. Before Chen could respond, Zaxor cut the transmission. He turned to his crew, a cruel smile playing across his features. Begin the abductions, and make sure our new test subjects are diverse. I want a good cross-section of their species. As the alien ship's tractor beams began plucking humans from the surface, panic spread across the globe. Families were torn apart, communities shattered, as people vanished in flashes of eerie green light. The world's military scrambled to respond, but their weapons prove useless against the advanced shielding of the alien vessel. In the White House Situation Room, President Evelyn Morales slammed her fist on the table. "We can't just sit here while they take our people. What are our options?" The Joint Chiefs exchanged grim looks. General Thompson, a grizzled veteran with more combat experience than the rest of the room combined, spoke up. "Madam President, I hate to say it, but we're outgunned and outclassed. Conventional weapons are useless. Our best missile only managed to scratch their paint." "What about the prototype?" Morales asked, her voice low. A hush fell over the room. Dr. Elijah Kaminsky, head of the top-secret Prometheus project, cleared his throat nervously. "It's not ready, Madam President. We've only run simulations. The risks of doing nothing are far greater," Morales interrupted. "How long to prep it for deployment?" Kaminsky hesitated. 12 hours minimum. "But Madam President, I must stress that we have no idea how it will interact with alien technology. The potential for catastrophic failure is..." "Noted, Doctor," Morales said firmly. "But it's the only card we have left to play. Get it ready." As the room erupted into a flurry of activity, Admiral Chen's face appeared on the main screen. She looked haggard, her uniform disheveled. "Madam President, the abductions are accelerating. We've lost contact with entire cities. The aliens are..." Her words were cut off by a burst of static. Morales closed her eyes, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. When she opened them again, there was steel in her gaze. "Get me a direct line to that alien bastard. It's time we showed them what humanity is really made of." Aboard the alien vessel, Zaxel watched with growing fascination as the first group of human test subjects was herded into the environmental chambers. "Begin the trials," he ordered, his voice thick with anticipation. As the chambers hummed to life, subjecting the terrified humans to extreme conditions, Zaxel settled back in his command chair. "Let's see what these creatures are truly capable of," he mused, unaware that he was about to learn a lesson in human resilience that would shake the very foundations of his beliefs. The first round of tests focused on environmental extremes. Humans were subjected to blistering heat, frigid cold, crushing pressures, and near-vacuum conditions. To Zaxel's surprise, they displayed a remarkable ability to adapt and survive. "Fascinating," he muttered, watching as a group of humans huddled together in a sub-zero chamber, using their collective body heat to stave off hypothermia. Their social bonds seemed to enhance their survival capabilities. Vea approached, her expression troubled. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting an anomaly in the human DNA samples we've collected. It appears to be evolving in response to the stresses we're applying." Zaxel's eyes widened. "Impossible. Show me the data." As he studied the readouts, a chill ran down his spine. The human genetic code was shifting, adapting to the alien environments at an unprecedented rate. It was as if their very DNA was learning from each challenge, becoming stronger and more resilient with each passing moment. This changes everything," Zaxel whispered, a mixture of fear and excitement in his voice. "Prepare for Phase 2. It's time to see what these humans are really capable of." As the alien ship prepared for its next round of experiments, humanity was not idly waiting for salvation. In secret labs and hidden bunkers across the globe, scientists and soldiers worked feverishly on Project Prometheus, humanity's last, desperate hope. The fate of 2 species hung in the balance, and the true test was only just beginning. The human spark. As dawn broke over a world in chaos, Project Prometheus hummed with feverish activity. In a secret underground facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elijah Kaminsky stood before a glowing cylinder, his weathered face illuminated by its pulsing blue light. "Ladies and gentlemen," he addressed the room of haggard scientists and military personnel, "what you're looking at is humanity's ace in the hole. We call it the Quantum Entanglement Amplifier, or QEA." General Thompson stepped forward, his voice gruff. "Skip the science mumbo-jumbo, Doc. Will it work against the alien bastards or not?" Kaminsky's eyes gleamed with a mixture of excitement and terror. In theory, it could change everything. The HFY taps into the fundamental fabric of reality itself. It can enhance human potential in ways we've only dreamed of. And the risks? President Morales asked, her voice sharp. The scientist hesitated. Catastrophic. We could tear a hole in the space-time continuum, create a black hole, or, well, the possibilities are endless. Morales nodded grimly. So are the consequences if we do nothing. Prep your volunteers. Meanwhile, aboard the alien mothership, Supreme Commander Zaxo was facing a crisis of his own. The human test subjects were not only surviving his most brutal trials, but thriving. Impossible, he roared, tentacles writhing in agitation. No species has ever adapted this quickly. Sub-Commander Vela approached cautiously. Sir, we've detected a strange energy signature emanating from the planet's surface. It seems to be resonating with the human's DNA. Zaxo's eyes narrowed. Show me. On the holographic display, a pulsing web of energy stretched across the globe, connecting every human being in a vast, invisible network. At its heart, a blinding point of light throbbed in sync with the captive human's heartbeats. By the cosmic void, Zaxor breathed. What have we awakened? Back on Earth, the first group of volunteers stepped into the HFY chamber. Among them was Captain Jake Martinez, a decorated Special Forces operative with nerves of steel and a heart of gold. Remember, Kaminsky's voice crackled through the intercom, the HFY will amplify everything about you, strengths and weaknesses alike. Stay focused on why you're doing this. Martinez closed his eyes, thinking of his family, his home, his planet. As the machine hummed to life, he felt a surge of energy unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Every cell in his body seemed to vibrate with newfound power. Aboard the alien ship, alarms blared. Zaxo watched in disbelief as the energy readings from Earth spiked off the charts. What in the name of the galactic core is happening down there? Suddenly, the ship shuddered. In the testing chambers, the captive humans began to glow with an inner light. Their eyes snapped open, blazing with an otherworldly fire. Sir, Vela cried. The humans, they're evolving. Before their astonished eyes, the test subjects began to change. Some grew in size, muscles rippling with impossible strength. Others seemed to fade from view, their bodies bending light itself. Still others began to levitate, defying the ship's artificial gravity. In the HFY chamber on Earth, Martinez felt his consciousness expand. He could sense the alien ship above, could feel the fear and confusion of its crew. With a thought, he reached out, his mind bridging the vast distance of space. Zaxor reeled as an alien presence invaded his mind. A human voice, layered with power beyond imagining, echoed in his thoughts. You wanted to see what humans are capable of. Martinez's voice boomed. Be careful what you wish for. With a gesture, Martinez and the other empowered humans shattered their containment fields. Chaos erupted throughout the ship as crew members found themselves facing opponents with godlike abilities. On Earth, Kaminsky watched the readings in awe. It's working. The HFY is tapping into some kind of collective human potential. It's like we've unlocked the next stage of human evolution. President Morales leaned in, her eyes fixed on the screens, showing the battle aboard the alien vessel. Can we replicate this on a larger scale? Kaminsky nodded, his fingers flying over the controls. I'm recalibrating the HFY now. If we can tap into the global network we detected earlier, we might be able to extend its effects to every human on the planet. As the scientists worked, the battle in orbit reached a fever pitch. Martinez, now able to manipulate matter with a thought, faced off against Zaxor in the ship's command center. You fool, Zaxor snarled, firing a barrage of energy blasts. You have no idea what forces you're toying with. Martinez dodged with impossible speed, his body blurring. Maybe not, he replied, his voice echoing with power. But we're quick learners. With a wave of his hand, Martinez sent Zaxor crashing into the ship's main computer. The alien commander struggled to his feet, genuine fear in his eyes for the first time. "What? What are you?" he gasped. Martinez smiled, a hint of sadness in his glowing eyes. "We're human, and we're just getting started." Back on Earth, Kaminsky's finger hovered over the activation switch. "Mr. President, if we do this, there's no going back. We'll be changing the course of human history forever." Morales took a deep breath, the weight of her decision heavy on her shoulders. "We've already crossed that line, Doctor. The question now is whether we shape our destiny or let it be shaped for us." She nodded firmly. "Do it." As Kaminsky activated the global QEA network, a wave of energy swept across the planet. In every corner of the world, humans felt a surge of power, their minds expanding, their bodies evolving. In orbit, Martinez sensed the change. He turned to Zaxor, his form now wreathed in crackling energy. "You came here looking for slaves," he said, his voice resonating with the combined will of humanity. "Instead, you've helped birth a new era of human potential." Zaxor, his arrogance shattered, could only watch in awe and terror as the transformed humans took control of his ship. As Earth glowed with newfound power below, one thought echoed through his alien mind. What have we unleashed? The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive, now stood on the brink of becoming something far greater than anyone, human or alien, could have imagined. And this was only the beginning. Cosmic awakening. The Earth pulsed with newfound energy, a brilliant blue jewel against the velvet backdrop of space. Billions of humans, their DNA rewritten by the quantum entanglement amplifier, were experiencing an awakening beyond imagination. In New York City, a street artist named Zoe gasped as her thoughts materialized into swirling, living murals. In Lagos, a young engineer named Adebayo found himself instinctively understanding and improving alien technology. And in a small village in the Himalayas, an elderly woman named Pema discovered she could communicate with plants, coaxing crops to grow at miraculous speeds. "It's like we've unlocked cheat codes for reality," breathed Dr. Kaminsky, watching the global feed with wide eyes. The Chamber of Nations erupted into a cacophony of excited voices, each leader reporting astounding developments from their countries. President Morales raised her hand for silence. "We've been given an incredible gift," she said, her voice steady despite the awe in her eyes. "But with great power comes great responsibility. We need to proceed with caution and—" Her words were cut short as a holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the room. Captain Jake Martinez, his form shimmering with energy, stood before them. "Madam President," he said, his voice echoing with otherworldly harmonics. "We've secured the alien vessel, but there's something you need to see." With a gesture, Martinez expanded the projection, showing the vast interior of the alien ship. But it wasn't the advanced technology that drew gasps from the assembled leaders. It was the beings housed in countless stasis pods lining the walls. "Are those other aliens?" someone whispered. Martinez nodded grimly. "Hundreds of species, all in varying states of suspended animation or genetic modification. It seems Earth wasn't the hegemony's first target." A chill ran through the room as the implications sank in. They weren't just dealing with invaders, this was a galaxy-wide threat. Aboard the captured ship, Zaxor sat in a containment field, his once imposing form now diminished. Sub-Commander Vela, who had surrendered willingly, stood nearby, conferring with a team of human scientists. "The hegemony has been doing this for millennia," Vela explained, her voice tinged with shame. "Seeking out developing worlds, experimenting on their inhabitants, trying to create the perfect servant race." Dr. Amelia Chung, a brilliant xenobiologist, frowned as she studied the alien database. But why? Surely a civilization advanced enough for interstellar travel doesn't need slaves. Vela's multiple eyes blinked in a gesture of sadness. "It's not about need, it's about power. The hegemony believes it's their cosmic right to rule over lesser species. Martinez, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. Well, they picked the wrong planet to mess with this time. As if in response to his words, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing a massive fleet of hegemony vessels dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Impossible, Zaxel breathed. They weren't due to arrive for another solar cycle. Martinez's eyes narrowed. Looks like your bosses don't take kindly to failure. Back on Earth, panic began to spread as the approaching armada was detected, but something extraordinary was happening. All across the globe, evolved humans were instinctively reaching out with their minds, forming a vast psychic network. In the Chamber of Nations, President Morales gasped as she felt the connection. Images, ideas, and emotions flowed freely between billions of minds. In an instant, humanity had achieved a level of unity and understanding that once seemed impossible. "We need to evacuate," General Thompson urged. "Our weapons are useless against that kind of firepower." But Morales stood firm, her eyes glowing with inner fire. "No," she said, her voice resonating with a combined will of humanity. "We stand and fight, not just for Earth, but for every world the hegemony has terrorized." As the hegemony fleet entered the solar system, they were met with a sight unlike anything they had encountered in their long history of conquest. The Earth glowed like a sapphire sun, surrounded by a swirling vortex of psychic energy. Millions of evolved humans rose into the atmosphere, their bodies encased in shimmering force fields. Leading them was Captain Martinez, flanked by Zoe, Adebayo, Pima, and countless others, each bringing their unique talents to bear. "This is humanity," Martinez's voice boomed across space, transmitted directly into the minds of the alien armada. "We will not bow, we will not break, and we are not alone." With a collective thought, the evolved humans reached out to the stasis pods aboard the captured ship. In a blinding flash of light, thousands of alien beings were awakened and teleported to Earth's surface, their bodies and minds healed by the incredible power of human empathy and the TEA. The hegemony fleet opened fire, but their energy weapons were absorbed by the psychic barrier surrounding Earth. In response, the evolved humans unleashed their full potential. Zoe painted reality itself, creating cosmic works of art that confused and disoriented the alien ships. Adebayo mentally interfaced with their technology, causing systems to fail across the fleet. Pema communed with the fabric of space-time, opening wormholes that swallowed entire battle cruisers. And at the center of it all, Martinez faced off against the hegemony's supreme overlord, their minds locked in an epic psychic battle that shook the very foundations of the galaxy. As the battle raged, Dr. Kaminsky worked feverishly in his lab, pushing the TEA to its limits. "If we can extend the field," he muttered, "amplify it through the entire solar system." With a final twist of a dial, Kaminsky unleashed the full power of human potential. A wave of energy exploded outward from Earth, washing over friend and foe alike. In an instant, every being in the solar system was connected, their minds linked in a vast cosmic network. The effect was immediate and profound. Hegemony soldiers, touched by human empathy and understanding, laid down their weapons. Generals wept as they experienced the pain they had inflicted on countless worlds. And the Supreme Overlord, faced with the combined will of humanity and its allies, finally understood the true meaning of unity. As the light faded and the dust settled, Earth stood unbowed, surrounded by a fleet of allies from across the galaxy. The age of the hegemony was over. A new era of cosmic cooperation was about to begin. Martinez turned to President Morales, his eyes filled with wonder. "What now?" he asked. Morales smiled, feeling the hopes and dreams of billions flowing through her. "Now," she said, "we reach for the stars. Together." As news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy, a new chapter in cosmic history began. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive, had become the catalyst for a great awakening. The universe would never be the same. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, new worlds awaited, new challenges loomed, and the greatest adventure in human history was just beginning. Galactic Renaissance. The cosmic dust had barely settled from humanity's astounding victory when Earth found itself at the center of an unprecedented galactic upheaval. The fall of the hegemony left a power vacuum that threatened to plunge the galaxy into chaos. But humanity, armed with its newfound abilities and unwavering spirit, was ready to face the challenge head-on. Welcome to the first Intergalactic Council meeting, President Morales announced, her holographic form projected into a vast virtual space. Around her, representatives from thousands of alien species gathered, their diverse forms a testament to the rich tapestry of life in the universe. Captain Jake Martinez, now Admiral of Earth's fledgling cosmic fleet, stood beside her. His eyes, still crackling with psychic energy, surveyed the assembled beings. "We stand at a crossroads," he began, his voice resonating across light years. "The old order has fallen. Together, we must forge a new path." As the Council debated the future of galactic governance, Earth was experiencing a revolution of its own. The Quantum Entanglement Amplifier, or QEA, had unlocked potential beyond imagination. In the bustling streets of Neo-Tokyo, a teenager named Hiroshi discovered he could manipulate digital realities with a thought. His mind melded seamlessly with the global network, creating virtual worlds that blurred the line between imagination and reality. "It's like we're living in a massive MMO now," Hiroshi explained to a floating camera drone, his eyes glowing with excitement. "But instead of just playing the game, we're writing the code in real time." Meanwhile, in the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Isabella Vargas led a team of evolved botanists in communion with the planet itself. Trees grew at impossible speeds, their branches weaving into living architecture that put the most advanced eco-cities to shame. "We're not just saving the Earth," Vargas declared, her voice filled with wonder. "We're co-evolving with it. The planet is alive, and now finally we can hear its song." But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In the Martian colonies, tensions rose as a group of humans, calling themselves purists, rejected the changes brought by the QEA. "We're losing our humanity," shouted Derek Collins, leader of the purist movement, at a fiery rally. "These powers, this evolution, it's turning us into something we were never meant to be." Back on Earth, in the newly established Global Innovation Hub, Dr. Kaminsky frowned as he watched the purist broadcasts. "We knew there would be resistance," he mused to his team. "Change is never easy, especially on this scale." His protégé, a brilliant young physicist named Zara Patel, nodded in agreement. "But we can't go back, can we? The genie's out of the bottle." Kaminsky's eyes twinkled with a mixture of excitement and concern. "No, we can't go back. But we can go forward, carefully." He turned to a holographic display showing the QDA's global network. "We need to understand what we've truly unleashed." As Earth grappled with its new reality, the galaxy watched with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Humanity's rapid ascension had sent shockwaves through cosmic civilizations. Some saw hope for a new era of peace and cooperation. Others saw a threat to the established order. In the shadowy corridors of power on distant worlds, plans were set in motion. Ancient species, long content to observe from the sidelines, began to stir. The game of cosmic chess had entered a new phase, with humanity as the wild card no one had anticipated. Admiral Martinez sensed the shifting tides as he stood on the bridge of the ESS Prometheus, Earth's first true starship. The vessel hummed with technology reverse-engineered from the hegemony, enhanced by human intuition and creativity. "Status report," he commanded, his mind simultaneously processing data streams from across the ship. His second-in-command, Commander Aisha Okafor, responded crisply. "All systems nominal, sir. We're ready to initiate the jump to the Andromeda Galaxy." Martinez nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. Humanity's first steps into a neighboring galaxy. Who would have thought we'd come this far so quickly? As the Prometheus prepared for its historic journey, a distress call crackled through the ship's communication systems. The message, fragmented and desperate, spoke of a terrible threat awakening in the depths of space. "The Void Eaters have returned," a raspy voice warned. "The ancients were right. The evolution of your species has triggered." The transmission cut off abruptly. A hush fell over the bridge. Martinez's eyes narrowed as he processed the implications. "Change of plans," he announced. "We have a new mission. Whatever these Void Eaters are, we need to find out." Back on Earth, in the quiet of his private lab, Dr. Kaminsky made a startling discovery. As he delved deeper into the mechanics of the HFY, he uncovered layers of complexity that defied conventional physics. "My God," he whispered, his face illuminated by swirling holographic equations. "The HFY isn't just tapping into human potential. It's connecting us to something much bigger." As if in response to his realization, the equations began to shift and morph, forming patterns that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly intelligence. For a moment, Kaminsky felt his consciousness expand beyond the confines of his body, beyond Earth, beyond the galaxy itself. In that infinite instant, he glimpsed the true nature of reality and the cosmic forces that humanity had unwittingly awakened. When he came back to himself, Kaminsky found Zara shaking him urgently. "Doctor, are you all right? You've been standing there frozen for hours." Kaminsky blinked, his eyes refocusing on the present. "Zara," he said, his voice hoarse with awe and terror. "Contact the President and Admiral Martinez. We need to warn them." "Warn them about what?" Zara asked, concern etched on her face. Kaminsky turned to the holographic display, where the equations continued their hypnotic dance. "The real test is just beginning," he said grimly. "And the fate of not just humanity, but the entire universe, hangs in the balance." As Earth prepared for an unknown threat and the Prometheus ventured into uncharted territory, the stage was set for a cosmic drama unlike any other. Humanity, once an insignificant speck in the vast tapestry of space, now stood at the center of a galactic storm. The Void Eaters were coming. The ancients were stirring, and the true purpose of the HFY was about to be revealed. The next chapter in humanity's grand cosmic adventure was about to unfold, and nothing would ever be the same again. Cosmic convergence. The ESS Prometheus hung in the inky void between galaxies, its sleek form a testament to humanity's rapid technological advancement. On the bridge, Admiral Jake Martinez stared at the swirling holographic display, his enhanced mind processing streams of data faster than any computer. "Status report," he commanded, his voice echoing with subtle harmonics that sent shivers down the crew's spines. Commander Aisha Okafor, her dark skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns, a side effect of the HFY, responded crisply. "Sir, we've detected an anomaly at the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy. It's unlike anything we've ever seen." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that defied comprehension. A vast, writhing mass of darkness stretched across space, devouring stars and planets in its wake. Tendrils of void energy lashed out, tearing holes in the fabric of reality itself. "The Void Eaters," Martinez breathed, his enhanced senses reeling from the cosmic horror before them. "They're real." Suddenly, the ship's communications crackled to life. Dr. Kaminsky's holographic form materialized on the bridge, his eyes wide with urgency. "Admiral, we've made a critical discovery about the HFY. It's not just enhancing humanity, it's connecting us to the fundamental forces of the universe itself." As Kaminsky explained his findings, the pieces of the cosmic puzzle began to fall into place. The HFY wasn't just a tool for human evolution, it was a key to unlocking the very nature of reality. Back on Earth, President Morales stood before the United Nations, now expanded to include representatives from thousands of alien worlds. Her form shimmered with barely contained energy as she addressed the assembled delegates. "We stand at the precipice of cosmic revolution," she declared, her voice resonating with the combined will of humanity. "The Void Eaters threaten not just our galaxy, but the entire universe. But we have been given the tools to fight back, if we're brave enough to use them. As she spoke, images of the Void Eaters flashed across holographic screens, eliciting gasps of horror from the assembled beings. But there was something else too, a glimmer of hope in the eyes of those who had once cowered under the hegemony's rule. In the Amazon, Dr. Isabella Vargas and her team of evolved botanists communed with the planet's biosphere. Trees grew at impossible speeds, their roots extending deep into the Earth's core. "We're not just saving the rainforest," Vargas exclaimed, her eyes glowing with chlorophyll. "We're turning the entire planet into a living weapon against the void." Meanwhile, in the bustling virtual realms of Neo-Tokyo, Hiroshi and a team of digital savants wove complex algorithms that bridged the gap between human consciousness and the quantum fabric of space-time. "It's like we're coding the universe itself," Hiroshi grinned, his avatar flickering with untamed energy. "Reality is our playground now." But as humanity pushed the boundaries of its newfound powers, the Void Eaters drew ever closer. On distant worlds, ancient beings stirred from eons-long slumbers, their eldritch forms defying mortal comprehension. "The convergence approaches," whispered the Eternal Ones, their voices echoing across dimensions. "The children of Earth must face their destiny." Aboard the Prometheus, Admiral Martinez felt the weight of that destiny pressing down upon him. "We can't run from this," he declared to his crew. "Humanity has always faced its challenges head-on. We won't stop now." With a thought, he opened a channel to Earth. "Dr. Kaminsky, we need to push the HFY to its limits. Can you amplify its effects across the entire galaxy?" Kaminsky's holographic form flickered with excitement and trepidation. "It's risky, Admiral. We'd be tapping into forces we barely understand. The consequences could be unpredictable." Martinez's eyes blazed with determination. "The consequences of inaction are certain destruction. Do it." As Kaminsky and his team worked feverishly to enhance the HFY, the Void Eaters descended upon the Milky Way. Entire star systems winked out of existence, devoured by the cosmic horror. But humanity and its alien allies stood firm, their evolved forms blazing with defiance. In a desperate gambit, Martinez directed the Prometheus straight into the heart of the void. As they plunged into the inky blackness, reality itself seemed to warp and twist around them. "Now, Doctor," Martinez commanded. With a burst of blinding light, the enhanced HFY pulse exploded outward from Earth, rippling across the galaxy in mere seconds. Every sentient being, from the smallest microorganism to the mightiest spacefaring civilization, felt the surge of cosmic awareness flood through them. In that moment of universal enlightenment, the true nature of the Void Eaters was revealed. They weren't destroyers, but transformers, cosmic catalysts for evolution on a scale beyond imagination. As one, humanity and its allies reached out with their enhanced minds, embracing the void rather than fighting it. The darkness that had seemed so terrifying began to shift and change, merging with the light of consciousness in a dazzling display of cosmic yin and yang. Admiral Martinez, his form now a being of pure energy, faced the heart of the void. "We understand now," he communicated, his thoughts reverberating across dimensions. "We're ready for the next step." In a blinding flash of creation, the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies merged, not in destruction, but in a glorious fusion of matter, energy, and consciousness. The Void Eaters, their purpose fulfilled, dissipated into the new cosmic order. As the light faded and the dust of creation settled, humanity found itself transformed. No longer bound by physical forms, they had become beings of pure consciousness, free to explore the infinite wonders of the universe. Dr. Kaminsky, now a shimmering nexus of thought and energy, marveled at the cosmic tapestry around him. "We've done it," he exulted. "We've transcended the boundaries of space and time." President Morales, her consciousness expanded to encompass entire galaxies, addressed the newly evolved beings. "This is not an end, but a beginning. We have been reborn as the guardians of creation, the shepherds of cosmic evolution. And so, humanity embarked on its greatest adventure yet, not as conquerors or destroyers, but as nurturers and protectors of the vast, living universe they now called home. As the newly evolved beings spread across the cosmos, seeding life and consciousness in their wake, a new age of wonder and discovery dawned. The story of humanity had become the story of the universe itself, an eternal tale of growth, transformation, and the endless pursuit of knowledge. And somewhere, in the vast expanse of reality, the next chapter of cosmic evolution was already beginning to unfold.